Why would anybody care what a Diglett is if they weren't excited about the show?
You're talking about visuals.
They're so great that they're in every city. Everybody wants a Nurse Joy. Everyone wants an Officer
But basically
Jenny.
what I'm hearing from Pokemon is that women are replaceable because it's like...
Whatever, as a kid, you play anything, it's fun. But now you try playing a Pokemon game, unless you just have nothing to do, it's freaking boring. What up guys? Today we're gonna do a little experiment. It's Yu-Gi-Oh versus Pokemon. And the problem is we don't know in what context yet. But we've decided we're gonna play a little game. We're gonna have all four of us, there's four of us here.
Yep.
And each of us is gonna come up with a prompt. And then two people will be like fighting against each other, whoever feels the most strong about that prompt. And then we'll have the judges decide who wins.
There's a ton of areas that we can discuss. There's the actual game, there's the merchandise, there's the show. Right now we're talking about...
Right now, my prompt, I've decided this one, okay? My prompt is the show, because I feel very strongly about this one. Which show was better? And we're talking about the classics, by the way.
Yes.
Like the first Yu-Gi-Oh with Yami and Joey, Kaiba, and then we're talking about the first generation of Pokemon with Misty and Brock and whoever else, not like...
Ketchum.
and Ash. Yeah, sure. I mean, he stays in all of them. That's why I'm saying the people who don't.
Well, I think we all know which one is better.
Yeah?
Pokemon.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
The reason why, I don't know if I have to do anything, but
I'll go ahead and let you go first.
I want to be the very best.
Hold on.
The theme song of Pokemon blows anything Yu-Gi-Oh has ever done on the show out of the water. I'm sorry.
Okay, as a child, I'm gonna say I've said this more times than the other one. It's time!
I think you're alone on that, bro.
No way.
I feel like...
I think I said I choose you more times about different things and people.
That's not even part of the theme song.
And it's so applicable to so many... Like, imagine your first love. And you go to them and like, I choose you. Like, Pokemon...
Okay, that's a catch... Okay, sure, whatever.
Pokemon applies to so many things.
The reason I said that is because I didn't even know that was... I didn't remember that as part of the theme song. I don't remember the Yu-Gi-Oh theme song at all. Forgettable.
Forgettable.
No, that's just because you didn't watch it, right?
I watched it. No, I was thinking on the side characters.
Hold on. Okay, Judge, sure. Okay, it's about the show right now. We're not talking about the theme songs, all right?
The theme song is part of the show. I don't know what world we're in right now where the theme song is not part of the show.
Okay, there's plenty of shows that have great openings, but the story still sucks, and that's Pokemon.
Like Life Told by Ginger, sorry, I had to put it out.
As told by Ginger.
Good song.
That show.
Heart of the Cards, just to fight your catchphrase, Heart of the Cards.
Yes.
Gamers, I know you've said that before. Everyone who's played a card game has said Heart of the Cards before. All right?
No, whenever you hear somebody playing the Pokemon theme song, and you get transported back to that place of childhood wonder. It's unmatched. It's this like nothing else.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the real substance of each show, which is the story. Yu-Gi-Oh just has a better overall story. I don't remember anything from Pokemon's story other than Ash meeting Pikachu the first time, getting his bike fried, whatnot.
You know what the great thing about Pokemon is? You don't have to remember anything.
Okay, you're shooting yourself in the foot here.
Because
we got like great moments from Yu-Gi-Oh.
How great it is.
We got great moments from Yu-Gi-Oh, like Joey's growth, Kaiba like standing on a ledge being like, I'm gonna kill myself if you don't let me win, Yugi.
I don't know.
And then
Is that a good moment?
yeah, it was an epic moment.
Did Yu-Gi-Oh inspire you to memorize hundreds of dueling cards? Or whereas Pokemon inspired so many kids to memorize hundreds of Pokemon.
We're talking about the show, the story.
That's part of it. Like, why would anybody care what a Diglett is if they weren't excited about the show?
You're talking about visuals and aesthetic, okay?
No, I'm talking about the show.
I'm gonna be more specific. Let's go with story, okay? I'm gonna like.
We don't have to be specific.
You don't even remember the story. Name
that doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. I just like Pokemon more.
Pegasus with his Millennium Eye captured Yugi's grandpa. Now Yugi's off to rescue him. There's a goal, there's a story. Where is the story for you?
To be the very best, like no one ever was.
And he never reaches it. At least Yugi
He's still trying.
Yugi saves after 20 years.
Trying.
He's still trying to be the best.
But he'll get there.
He'll
get there.
Yugi has saved his grandpa. And
you know what else has been going on for
that.
20 years? One Piece. And you will love One Piece.
Okay, at least One Piece has arcs where there's still like a goal in those individual arcs. What is Ash trying to do in each arc? He's just traveling around all episodes. You don't even know. You can't even say it. Let's just we're done. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
I think we know what the real winner is, but we can go on to the next topic.
No, let's go for the judges. You guys can be biased judges. You don't have to be objective.
Because you made it about story, I think that gave you the edge. OC, I was just waiting for in your argument to mention that like the characters are iconic, right? Because everyone knows Jesse, James, Brock, Misty. Like we know them by name, we love them, and I mean, they're different stories, all right? I mean, like Kurt Vonnegut said when he was teaching English, like you got first thing off the bat, make your characters want something. Ash Ketchum wanted to be the very best. He wanted to be the best Pokemon trainer, Pokemon master. You didn't give me that part of the argument that I was waiting for. So I don't know. I kind of have to give it to Scott because he was bringing up a lot of points.
Plot points, plot story.
There's a beautiful simplicity to like the Pokemon story, but you just didn't give me that. If we're talking about argument's sake and not my opinion, I think maybe Scott had.
Thank you. You're an objective judge through and through. No, she's an objective judge.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I'm really biased. As a Pokemon fan, I'm very disappointed in you, Oscar. You basically just said, oh, Pokemon is just a theme song. How the hell are you going to miss the fact? No.
It's the best thing.
Hold on. How are you going to disrespect the relationship between Pikachu and Ash? That is one of the most important relationships there is.
Okay.
You didn't even mention the movie.
You did not mention it.
You didn't
not talk about the transformation, the character development. Freaking Pikachu was shocking him every 23 episodes.
Judge is roasting you.
Yes, I have to. This is out of love. Trust me, this is from a Pokemon fan.
Damn.
Let's not forget Team Rocket, one of the main antagonists. And how, for exactly the Meowth, and how he developed talking. That's like one of the central themes in Pokemon. How could you forget that?
The central theme is Meowth talking.
It's essential theme to see his growth.
He's not wrong. You can boil it down to a story about a boy and his Pikachu.
Exactly.
And just leaning into that could have given you what you needed in your argument. You didn't give that to us.
You have to understand that Pokemon does represent what we call the shonen protagonist, which is a boy discovering the world and wanting to become the best version of himself. And you just looked at it as like, well, yeah, he wants to be the best, but we don't see the journey of how he became
better.
For him to do that is just disrespectful. It's very hurtful.
Yeah, you gotta tag Chuku.
And I'm sorry.
You gotta tag Chuku.
I will say, Scott, he had a better argument. I would say he could have gone more deeper. A lot.
I could have, but he didn't.
Obviously,
he wasn't like on par. I didn't need to use everything.
He was a troll. Happens. Sometimes you have to deal with these fake fans. They're these Pokemon protectors.
Respecting the sanctity of the argument.
The land. I play Pokemon Go all the time.
Exactly, Pokemon Go.
All right. Crystal, do you have a prompt? A prompt by any chance?
I don't know. Stronger female characters.
That's a good one. Yeah, which one? Female? Sure, why not?
Are there female characters in Yu-Gi-Oh?
I was about to say.
What?
I was about to say.
What?
Okay, Chuku, you're up. You're up.
Barely, who's in there? Serenity? Who cares? Who cares?
No. Okay, we gotta talk about this.
Okay, next prompt. This is a big one. Which one between Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon has the stronger female characters with actual good stories?
Oh wow, this is very easy.
So, which side are you on?
I'm obviously going to be for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Fine, go ahead.
Yes.
There's
bias.
let's not even just bias. Let's take, for example, My Valentine, like her story, right? And like her story being the fact that she's like that party life girl who had to had a hard time going through life because, you know, her issues and whatnot. And then through card gaming, and that's the thing about this show, it's all about how card gaming changes you in life. We see that she's become more empathetic. We see that her relationship with Joey and Yugi and all that stuff is a good example of how that maybe you could start trusting people, because she did not trust people. That was her thing. She did not trust people. And we can see how she can be abused from that, because, you know, Pegasus manipulator, that one guy who's all about the Sea of Orichalcos tried to abuse her. It's like all these people try to take her. So we can see her growth with it. And even with Taya and Serenity, yeah, it's Serenity. I know that for a fact.
Serenity, who cares?
Yeah, no, she's important. Reason being is because she went from being the damsel of distress to at one point defending herself. Because at some point she realized, I can't always rely on my big brother Joey to take care of me, even though I'm blind, and even being blind and helpless makes it suck. But still, she wound up defending herself, all because of the inspiration between Yugi and all the other characters. So to me, that's a very strong female.
What does Taya do?
Taya is she's the one who's responsible for the Heart of the Cards. Think about it. She is the one who started Heart of the Cards. Sorry. But that's the thing. She put the thing on the she put the marker
face
on the thing and said that. Face. And when every time they remember, she's the real heart of the group. Serenity is literally like the Katara of the group, if you think about it. So like Taya, it's my bad. Taya, not Serenity. We can call her the top in some ways if we're talking about disability. But the point is, yes, she's the heart of the group. If it wasn't for her, there's a lot of moments where Yugi would have just went into the dark world. So it's definitely a big part. And let's not forget, Dark Magician Girl actually has a role too.
No, she does.
Yeah, she does. See, this is what happens when you don't watch the show.
Let Crystal have it.
Okay, I'll let her talk.
Yeah.
It kind of sounded like they all did the same thing.
What do you mean?
It's just, okay, they start at the bottom, now they're here, sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, Pokemon shows that you can have women in different diverse roles, not all doing the same thing. You have Nurse Joy, you have Officer Jenny, we have a woman in law enforcement, we have a nurse, which is a super important job. Misty, who is actually like a part of the trio. There's only 3 of them. Misty holds her own. She takes care of Togepi. She's with them 100% of the time, all the way, all in. But then you also have Jessie, who is, you know, I love a woman who can be bad, like a villain. And she, you know, in partnership with James, shows that, like, you know what, even though they're kind of like always down on their luck, you know, just having each other to kind of be villains together. She's not a good person, she's not charming, but you love her because, you know, she's there and they make waves as part of like the Team Rocket community, as like the villains, the main villains of the show, the main villains, the main antagonists.
Yeah. I agree with that, but this is where it becomes a thing when I hear that. Like, for example, Nurse Joy, you know, the Jennies, all that. They're always the same role.
They're
they
so
don't even
great
have the
that they're in every city. Everybody wants a Nurse Joy. Everyone wants an Officer
But basically
Jenny.
what I'm hearing from Pokemon is that women are replaceable because it's like, I mean, Ash just gets another partner that's a female that takes Missy. We have another Nurse Joy. We have another Nurse or Officer Jenny. I mean, God, geez, I would imagine that these women would grow and be into different develops, but I guess that Pokemon, they're just like, we can just make them disappear.
No.
As opposed to Yu-Gi-Oh, where we see how these people affect them and that they're an important role to society, and how that, for example, that even that somebody who is damaged, like Mai, who should be broken and hurt, can change. And that's the beauty part of Yu-Gi-Oh. We see growth and transformation from these girls that make them really strong people. So that's where I would go for that.
You're invalidating at least Jessie's experience, because there are times where her and James are definitely contemplating like what are we doing in Team Rocket, right? And like maybe they don't necessarily believe in the cause, they don't believe in Pokemon, but they believe in each other. And that relationship of them together, seeing a dynamic between like a man and a woman in that way as partners, that's refreshing to me. You know, that they're not romantic interests, that they're in it together to be a team, to just do the worst possible things that they can together. Like that's like evil buddy cop status. That's icon status to me. And that's what I take away from the female characters in Pokemon. And like, they're in the nitty gritty trying to make a living in Team Rocket. And I got that from them and I love them for it, even though they're not good people.
Eloquently spoken. Now the judges will do our thing.
I will go based off of my bias.
What? Okay. A judge that admits.
We don't know what your bias is because
By virtue of the fact that I remember the Pokemon females more, I will go with the Pokemon side on this one.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay, viewers, let us know how wrong OC's opinion is.
did Mai and Taya even have jobs? Like, what were they doing?
What do you mean, mine? Jobs?
Okay. Anyone that has watched both shows.
I don't know. I think that the iconic nature of like Team Rocket and like Jessie is it kind of blows every
That part was good, but then when Chuku argued about how like there's multiple Nurse Joys,
But
and
if
then
I
multiple...
don't, okay. But I mean, as far as like the supposed development of the female characters in Yu-Gi-Oh, if I don't remember them at all,
Was it really iconic? Like,
Okay, that's just your memory, but we have to go off their arguments. Either way, I'm not gonna sway your decision. I think Chuku's the obvious winner just because he gave such clear arguments for like, Serenity breaking out of her comfort zone, and trying to help the others, and also Mai's whole story arc and whatnot, and Taya being involved with creating like the heart of the cards, or just like power friendship thing in the first place. All of those are just great arguments. And then when you said the thing about the Nurse Joys and Officer Jenny's, that was like it kind of sold me on your side.
that wasn't a clear argument because you said they were replaceable, but they're not replaceable if it's like the same girls in every episode.
It's replaceable because it's like it means that they basically don't need the same person because they always have to
Exactly.
like basically it's not they're not
It is
unique.
the same person.
Like it would be interesting. It would be
It is
interesting
the same
if there were only one Nurse Joy traveling the world trying to
Yeah.
help Pokemon.
But it's like
It's not clear what it was though. They kept that kind of like
Not
it's
to
kind of
mention-
it was a fantastical thing though, but it was the same Nurse Joy
not to
and
mention,
Officer Jenny.
Like after Mai he has May. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not Mai. Misty has May. Then has
Wow.
another girl. It's like
Exactly, yeah.
Why does it always have to get different?
That was a good
people?
argument too.
So it's
Just-
like
just continuously switching the girls around.
I mean, sometimes a girl's got to do what a girl's
they
got to
That's
do.
true.
girls move on.
people
Yeah.
move on, but I think that if you have
She
a
got
strong
tired of
connection
having
at the
to
end
deal
of the
with
day,
Brock's-
they will come back
Yeah, but
together.
it's like the show treating the girls like they're replaceable,
That's just how I get from it.
It is. I see it too now that you've mentioned it. It's just like Brock stays, but for some reason Misty's gone, and then another girl, and then another
Yeah,
girl, and
exactly.
then what the heck is happening?
And
You know what I
then
mean? Like
sometimes,
it's-
and then Brock always.
I feel like these
and then
arguments are being
Brock-
taken very
But they're
seriously.
not they're not wait, Misty had a different motivation. Like Misty didn't want to be like a trainer.
I know, but they could have shown her more.
they
you know, they
could've
could have like
come back,
developed her more.
like, we
They
could
kind of
see
just Jessie was the strongest argument you had for sure, and it was a good one. But I just thought his arguments were better. So I mean, it's a tie. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, the next prompt from OC is gonna be all games from Yu-Gi-Oh versus all games from Pokemon. My side, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh card game is enough to beat the Pokemon games that are like the classics and whatnot.
Are you talking about enough in the sense where it's like, oh, it's like enough in terms of like, oh, you can get into it easier? Or are you just talking about enough in like what, just like the cards in general? Like, are we talking about the cards? Because
So from my experience, whenever I play like the Yu-Gi-Oh card game versus like playing the Pokemon game, right?
the actual video game?
Yeah, the actual video game for Pokemon, I mean, assuming that's your argument.
Yeah.
For me, I played it a lot as a kid,
Yeah.
and I level grinded, shit like that.
Yeah.
It is still the same now, and I tried getting back into it. It's so boring.
Really?
I could still play Yu-Gi-Oh now compared to back then. When I still play Yu-Gi-Oh back then, but like back then I played Pokemon, and now I don't because it's so boring. Like it's literally 4 moves all the time. It's still the same setup. They use the same formula, and it's just I couldn't stand it. I tried playing Pokemon. I think it was like Sword or something, and I was so bored.
So bored of the games. I mean, I honestly think the games are very, well, first of all, if we're including all games, we also have Pokemon Go, which is very
Which is like a disaster.
It's a very engaging thing we have, and that's the beauty part of Pokemon. That's more, again, diverse with the games, and it's that even with the games, the reason why they have that same formula is because that they understand that the market of the fan base. It's like you don't want to do something that's broken. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, its whole game is the same formula of, you attack monster, magic. You're trying to get the life points of the person, all that. So the rules are always going to be the same.
Okay, the rules are the same, but it still changes with like the randomness of the deck, as well as the continuous creation of new cards that change up the meta of the game, that change up like how games work, that change up the flavor of how you play it. And also, it's like you're playing it with other people.
Yeah.
And people have tournaments with this stuff,
Yeah.
People love this. I loved it. I played it in college with my roommates, like all the time before, like the night before exams. It's just like.
But do you know what was so beautiful being back? Like, you remember that time, OC? Sorry, I had to bring the judge. It's kind of a nostalgia moment. But the point.
Bleep out our childhood.
Not too much. But the point is. One of the coolest things is when you had like a Game Boy Advance or even a Game Boy Color, you had Pokemon, the other person had Pokemon, you were like, hey, let's see which one's the better Pokemon.
Okay, sure.
We go in and
got
kind of
stolen at Butterfield.
the point is that was one of the coolest things. Not to mention, have you not played Pokemon Stadium? Because that's a whole different Pokemon game. Like it's less on the whole.
haven't.
Okay, see, that's another thing. There's a diversity with Pokemon games. Even a Pokemon game that I was a kid, that even nowadays I'd kind of cringe, but I still love it because it's Pokemon. It's Pokemon Snap, where you literally have the N64 and you're driving through all those videos.
I played that one.
That one was.
You play it like once or twice, bored.
My point is.
Look, they have novelty. I won't deny that. Like, sure, Pokemon Go, you play it for a while, you quit. Sure,
depends.
the first
It depends.
Pokemon game,
Yeah,
like you play as a kid, whatever. As a kid, you play anything, it's fun. But now you try playing a Pokemon game, unless you just have nothing to do, it's freaking boring.
It really depends on that's the beauty of novelty. It depends on which version you're into, because a lot of people, they love Pokemon Go. Like Pokemon Go is their thing.
They're just bored.
I don't even look at it much as bored. It was like
It's like a collector's game where you just throw Pokeballs. It's like, how's that fun at all? There's no strategy. There's no element of surprise. There's no element of...
There's somewhat of an element of surprise.
Like what? Once in a while, an interesting Pokemon pops
It's
up?
a surprise, the fact that the Pokemon that you even like. So it's like, let's just say you're trying to find a Meowth, and then it's like, the Meowth is that San Diego, it's like you went all that far and you found something crazy.
Yu-Gi-Oh has like a lot more interest in people who actually really enjoy like gaming or playing games. Like there's an element of Yu-Gi-Oh where there's randomness, there's strategy, there's things where like you're playing against an opponent, there's pressure, there's like timing, there's a lot of elements that actually make it like more of a real game if we're arguing which is the better game,
Yeah, but I feel like Pokemon's the same thing. It just depends what game you're playing.
Pokemon is literally grind. That is literally it.
Nah.
You do the same thing over and over again.
You can, depending on what, like I said, Pokemon Stadium is a good example of a game where
Which one is Stadium again? It's not the Snapshot one, is it?
It's not the Snapshot one. This is the one I'm talking
Is
about.
it the one that's online?
It's not an online game. It's a game that was on this N64, but also was on the GameCube, and then they also made a one for the Wii, where it's basically you have your Pokemon characters, and they actually like you can fight them, and it's like and now with the Wi-Fi and
fight your Pokemon characters.
Yeah, it's like it's not a turn-based. That's the beauty part of it. It's not like a turn-based type of thing.
Sure.
So that adds more dynamics to it. So it's like my thing is like it depends which Pokemon game you have, because they're all different, and that's what I love about it, because not everyone wants to be this like, oh, I want to get into the whole like strategy or hardcore tournament thing. Some people just want to have their quote unquote shits and giggles, where they go and they find their little Pokemon thing. So the fact that it's diverse, more people can get into it. Versus Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like one type of style. So if you're not into it,
I suppose if you're arguing for like whichever game is more open to the public, sure, Pokemon might win that. But if you're talking about which game is better overall, if we're talking about like the first things you think of when you talk about card games or the video games, most people think about the 4 moves, wandering around with a bike once in a while and fishing. It's boring.
I mean, again, it depends who you're fighting, because I'm pretty sure, again, if you're having battles with some people that you really think are challenging, I mean, even the fact Pokemon itself, it's all about, Ash himself trying to battle people who are challenging. So like that, I still think that aspect in the game is interesting for a lot of people. There's communities about it, and the fact that it has a strong push in community people in it, it's definitely something to like. I can't say it's.
I think that's a weak
boring.
argument because there's a freaking community for.
I mean, there is
everything.
a community for everything, but the fact that there is like a strong push for the community of it, is that what I'm saying, and that you can't just say it's like. I mean, maybe it's boring to you, but to say like for the general public, I would make a different kind of argument that.
I'm not trying to speak for everyone. I'm just trying to convince those two that Yu-Gi-Oh has a better game compared to your video games. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's
let's-
fine. It's fine.
I might have lost. It's okay.
Okay, so from my unbiased this time, I think for sure Pokemon wins this argument.
Unbiased.
Yeah, I don't really like this topic because it's like comparing apples and oranges. I think because you opened up the argument to include all Pokemon games, and Chuku did bring up the argument that I wanted to hear is like just the sheer accessibility of it and like the iconic behavior of like Niantic and Pokemon. It's every time there's a Pokemon announcement, I see the hype, and you were bringing up that argument, and it's like I do think accessibility is a big thing. I think when you can get a lot of people excited about like Pokemon stuff, like that excitement is palpable and it's fun, and I think it's not always nostalgic. No, and like you don't play Pokemon Go. There's like other stuff besides grinding.
I played it.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun too to like take over gyms, right? So I think there's
And
like
you can battle people.
Yeah, that's even everything.
What is battling?
You fight people
You-
with Pokemon.
Guys, this is not a real game. It's not a real game.
It's a game. The rules of a game. There's a challenge. There's a goal.
there's also
It's a game to you. We're fine. Pokemon can win.
there's even some games you're not mentioning. There's online Pokemon games that
That's
people
true.
really like too. Like
There
I don't
are,
know all
there are.
about it, but there are communities for that
There
that are really
is.
into that. So I think because there's just a wider breadth of the types of games there are in the Pokemon
Yeah.
community, like it's just because of that openness and that accessibility, and you mentioned it, I have to give it to Chuku.
Yeah, it was an uphill battle for you.
It was.
If you stuck with the card games, you would have,
Yeah, if we did
done it.
card
Yeah.
games,
Yu-Gi-Oh
that-
would have won.
for sure.
So there's no argument there, you know?
Yeah.
But with all games, no, I
Yeah.
feel like it's not a contest.
Yeah.
It's that the Pokemon game was like the Game Boy game.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
the
I think
end all be all for people our age when we first had
we
this
should have
SP.
done Yu-Gi-Oh card game versus Pokemon classic video games. That would have been better. Like Sapphire, Ruby.
It's
Red,
still like apples and
red.
oranges, dude.
Yeah, that's another thing. It
Still,
comes down to
it's
preference.
still, but it's at least he doesn't have like a freaking arsenal of games to use against a single card game.
You know what you could have leaned into is kind of like artwork and like the cult status of Yu-Gi-Oh, and like there's like a market for like people that sell and buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and
But there's a market for Pokemon. I mean, your boyfriend
Yeah.
makes money off of it, so I'm
No,
like,
that's the
Chico
other
wins.
thing.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, Pokemon
No,
cards,
Yu-Gi-Oh's
the
the same.
value.
Yu-Gi-Oh's the same.
Yeah, it is. I know there's actual Yu-Gi-Oh
Pokemon
tournaments.
value right now is more than Yu-Gi-Oh, but I like Yu-Gi-Oh art better. I'll give
Yeah.
that to you.
I like the game of Yu-Gi-Oh is more interesting. I would say that than the Pokemon card game. I don't even know what the Pokemon card game is, honestly.
Yeah, it became more of like a marketable.
Yeah, it
game
really
more so
did
than a
became
game.
that than a
Alright.
game.
Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed our weird argument, Yu-Gi-Oh versus Pokemon. There's a lot of different contexts in which you can place that statement, and we were just having fun with it. I generally just like Yu-Gi-Oh better as a property. I think you can tell from the video, but it was fun doing this video with you guys. What do you guys think?
I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I still am split on between which one I like better, for sure. I have both strong opinions on both. So.
Yeah. But let us know your guys' thoughts about this debate, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.
Peace. Pokemon 1.